Here's the part where it gets good, bro. When you replace corn and choking the chicken with something valuable, you're not just eliminating a bad habit, you're building yourself up. You start actually seeing your self-esteem go up. You become more focused, more productive, and you start feeling more confident in the bedroom. The fear, the worry, the anxiety completely go away, and you start loving the experiences that you have in the bedroom again. And honestly, your life just gets better because you're actually growing as a man. And there's a lot of research done on the fact that forward progression in one's life equals happiness. What if I told you that all those days and those nights you spent having your way with yourself, they're not just a bad habit, but they're truly the reason why you feel like less than your real self? Hey, what up, bro? Welcome back to Morningwood Academy, where we dive deep into men's health and personal transformation. I'm Eric, and today we're talking about something that's probably been on your mind for way too long. How the heck do I stop watching corn and choking the chicken all the time? I want to talk about this because this is one of the most common mistakes that guys make when they're trying to quit corn and choking the chicken. They focus all their energy on avoiding it. So here's the truth. You can't just run from it. You can't hide from it. You can't grit your teeth and just will it away. That's not how the mind works. You've got to replace it with something better, something more valuable, something that will improve your life. I want to start with a simple concept. The brain doesn't understand negative commands. Okay, if you remember from a previous video with Sigmund Freud, we spoke about the subconscious mind. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check that out. Well, the subconscious mind is the deepest part of your mind. And if you say to yourself, don't think of a pink elephant riding a tricycle on a tightrope, what do you picture? A pink elephant riding a tricycle on a tightrope, right? This is the same thing with corn and choking the chicken. The more that you say, don't watch corn, don't touch yourself, the more you're actually reinforcing that behavior in your mind. Can you see that? You might even know what I'm talking about. Like, how many times have you been sitting there on the couch, like, all right, just don't think about it. Just don't think about it. And then bam, right? The next thing you know, you've got your phone in one hand and you're halfway through your session before your conscious mind even realized it was on autopilot. Because in your subconscious mind, it doesn't hear the don't, it actually hears, just think about it. Just think about it. Isn't that crazy? Instead of avoiding it, you actually brought it on because of your focus on it. I can remember those days when I thought that quitting was impossible, right? There I was, promising myself that this would be the last time, again. And guess what? 2 hours later, I was back at it, convincing myself that just one more time and that's it. Sound familiar? The key is that you have to give your brain something else to focus on, something to replace it. So what do I mean by replace it with something of value? Well, let me break it down. When you're triggered, when you feel the urge to go down that dark road again, you need a new action to take. And this is where the magic happens. Instead of focusing on what not to do, we replace it with what we do want to do. Now here's the catch. This new activity has to be valuable to you, something that makes your life better or more exciting and gives you real progress. Think about it. What could that something better be for you? For me, it was the time that I spent getting outside during those walks that I used for my replacement behaviors. I wasn't out there just to look at some trees. I was getting fresh air. I would always be listening to something educational or motivational that would pump me up and help me to conquer those triggers. Not only did I not relapse to my trigger, but I actually got healthier and I improved my mind instead. I started to stack up these wins in my mind, learning something new with every single step. Each step was leveling me up day by day, okay? And by doing this consistently over time, the stacked up benefits became more visible in my life. Now, I'm not saying that you need to hit the gym like The Rock or anything like that, but if you're not doing anything to replace corn, you're leaving a vacuum for it to come back into your life. Even 30 minutes is enough to let those trigger chemicals go their course, and you'll be back to writing that email in no time. Look, we've all heard the saying, idle hands are the devil's playground, right? Well, that's basically what's happening when you're trying to quit something without replacing it. If you're just sitting around waiting to mess up again, you will. Because you're going to get bored and you're going to fall back into the stimulation's easiest path of least resistance. We're wired this way, even me. I'm just as susceptible to this too. If I hadn't gotten serious about my life and created these new habits and rituals, I wouldn't have been able to understand this process and lay it out so clearly for the other men to follow. And that's what you need to do. If you really want to overcome your triggers, you've got to develop new habits and new rituals, new skills or hobbies that fill your time and engage your mind. Whether it's learning to cook, playing the guitar or the piano, okay? Even something as simple as just leaving the environment and reading a book, all right? You need to fill that space with something that you enjoy that's a net positive in your life. There's actual science behind this. A study from Nature Neuroscience showed that building new habits rewires the brain. The more you engage in new activities, the more those neural pathways strengthen and the old habits begin to lose their grip. This is the process of rewiring, not just avoiding what you don't want. You need to strengthen what you do want. Now here's the kicker. You can't just randomly replace one thing with another. If it doesn't actually mean anything to you, then the chances are that you're not going to stick with it. It has to be something that brings you closer to your higher purpose, something that truly matters to you, like becoming healthier was to me as I went for my walks. So, to really start to apply this to your situation, begin by asking yourself, what do I really want out of life? Do you want deeper relationships, more self-confidence, better health, stronger erections, or to last longer in bed? Whatever it is, that needs to be the driving force behind your replacement activity. Bro, no one ever cured their corn addiction by scrolling through Instagram or playing Call of Duty all day. You've got to do something that brings value to your life. And soon, you'll start to see those new benefits stack up, these new changes, less reactivity to your triggers, more calm and focus in your life. And you'll know that all the time you spent becoming better, while it wasn't the quick fix, it was the real fix. So, what does this look like in practice? Let me give you a simple action plan. First, identify your triggers. Understand what situations make you reach for your phone or open up your laptop. You gotta get out of your own way. Identify your triggers. Is it that 3 p.m. slump when your workday's dragging? Or is it that late night scroll fest when you're lying in bed? It's gonna be different for everybody. So the key to this is actually identifying when you're most likely to be triggered so that you can fortify your defenses. Next, choose your replacement behaviors. Okay, pick a skill, a hobby, or an action that aligns with your higher goals. It can be something like going for a walk, reading a book, or practicing that new skill. Just remember the first step is to make sure that it physically removes you from the environment where you're typically going to act out. If you stay in that environment, you will find a way to talk yourself into acting out, all right? Now, maybe not the first time, but what I found to be true is that if you give yourself a door, you'll take it. You'll just say to yourself, oh, I'll do better next time. Well, no, bro. Do better this time. Get out of the environment. No more excuses. I'm telling you exactly what to do, and now it's on you to take action. And third, track your progress. After you finish your replacement behavior, I want you to keep a journal. Write down when you felt triggered, like the time of day. What were you doing when it happened? What did you do to replace the urge? And how did you feel afterwards? This helps you to stay accountable and shows you how much progress you're making. And with enough data points, You're going to be able to understand to the deepest details of when you get triggered, so that way you can become an expert at replacing them with your new positive habits and rituals on your way to your best life. And lastly, rinse and repeat. Replacing a habit takes time, bro. But every time you do it, you're training your brain to adopt a new pattern. When you go to the gym, you can't do 20 sit-ups every 6 months and expect to get a six-pack, right? It's repetition over time that creates the results. This is no different. We're trying to rewire the neural pathways. This needs to be done every single time you get triggered so that the neural pathways can adjust and start to cut off the old outdated pathways that no longer serve you. Here's the part where it gets good, bro. When you replace corn and choking the chicken with something valuable, you're not just eliminating a bad habit, you're building yourself up. You start actually seeing your self-esteem go up. You become more focused, more productive, and you start feeling more confident in the bedroom. The fear, the worry, the anxiety completely go away, and you start loving the experiences that you have in the bedroom again. And honestly, your life just gets better because you're actually growing as a man. And there's a lot of research done on the fact that forward progression in one's life equals happiness. What if I told you that all those days and those nights you spent having your way with yourself, they're not just a bad habit, but they're truly the reason why you feel like less than your real self? I had a client who used to watch porn multiple times a day. He'd sneak away from his desk in his home office for his lunch break for a little bathroom stall quickie. And I think any man with a true addiction to choking the chicken knows exactly what that's like. And when we first started working together, he told me, Eric, I love my wife, but I just can't stop. I just can't stop. But once we shifted his focus away from what he couldn't do, and we found areas in his life that he understood could benefit him if he just spent a little bit more time on them, when he focused more on actually building his business, spending more time with his family, and getting in shape and working on his personal development, the corn and the choking the chicken just faded away. Those old neural pathways weren't being fed, and they weren't being reactivated after taking a few weeks off either. Okay, they just kept getting smaller and smaller. This wasn't a quick fix. It was the real solution that he needed, and he's never looked back. So there you have it, brother. You can't avoid the urges. Life happens. You can only replace it with something better. And when you do, you'll not only stop desiring to watch porn, but you'll also start becoming the man that you've always wanted to be. If this video hit home for you, do me a favor, man. Erect that thumbs up button. Helping me reach even more men in need means so much to me, bro. You have the power to quit corn and choking the chicken for good. If you need a personalized plan, quit wasting time and book your better than free coaching session so that we can get to work and get your life back. Don't forget to stimulate the subscribe button right here and hit the bell so you never miss out on our talks about men's health and personal transformation. And if you're struggling with PIED, you might want to watch some of these. They've actually been really helpful for a lot of other guys. I hope you learned something today, brother, and I hope you can apply this to your life. Until we meet again, much love.